Disney movies are well known for their enticing characters and fun storylines. But did you know that this celebrated company has had their work copied multiple times? Stick around until the end to find out which film Disney started a lawsuit over. New around here? Make sure to give us a like and hit the subscribe button to see more great videos like this. Now, here's 10 animated movies that copied Disney. Tangled Up. The Tangled Up team could have probably been a little more creative with the name of their movie, especially since Disney already made a hit movie called Tangled. These guys didn't even try to hide the fact that they blatantly ripped off Disney's amazing 2010 story about Rapunzel. Disney's Tangled did so well that it was nominated for an Oscar for one of its incredible songs. They were so mad about Tangled Up that they actually went after Brightspark, a production company that rips off popular animation films. This Brighton-based company is notorious for their mock-offs. They clearly try to trick potential audience members into thinking that their films are something else. Even the cover of Tangled Up resembles the cover of the original Disney flick that the film copied. Next to the Tangled Up title on Amazon, it even says "Not Disney." Amazon is obviously trying to warn their customers to not be duped by this knockoff company. Despite the story of Rapunzel being a fairy tale that anyone can use, Brightspark still infringed on Disney's copyright. But we don't think that Disney has anything to worry about. Their animated movies will always be #1 in our books. As that famous saying goes, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Braver. We already told you that Brightspark has made an entire business based around confusing people. They purposely mislead audiences by replicating famous Disney animated films for profit. While they are an independent company, that didn't stop Disney from noticing that they overtly copy their films. Brightspark's movie Braver is just a bad version of Disney's Brave. Besides copying Disney's title and logo, the content and storyline are also incredibly similar. Disney said in a statement, "People place great trust in the quality and creativity of Disney, and when it appears that another company is causing confusion among Disney consumers, we will act to protect ourselves and the consumer." In an interview with The Guardian, Brightspark said that they create their content for families on a budget. They also said that they doubt that their movies will be confused with Disney's wonderful work. Isn't it nice when people try to dig themselves out of the grave that they dug? Izzy's Way Home. Finding Dory was the lovable follow-up film to the popular Disney animated feature Finding Nemo. Another mockbuster company was finally able to burst into the animation world by copying the underwater world of Disney's Finding Dory and Finding Nemo. This company called The Asylum is known for copying more than just animated movies. They've also made their own films based off of the Transformers and Sharknado franchises. Izzy's Way Home is about an aquarium fish that always gets picked on. She ends up escaping into the dangerous ocean and must brave the new world with her new sea creature friends. Does that sound familiar to you? Disney's Finding Nemo was such a big hit that it's listed on IMDb's list of top films. Plus, it even took home an Oscar, with the talented Ellen DeGeneres playing Dory. How could Disney not give her character her own movie? We also kind of understand why The Asylum would want to try to copy these awesome sea movies. Izzy's Way Home was even released 1 month prior to Finding Dory. The Asylum seemed to be very ignorant of the fact that they were cashing in on someone else's brilliant idea. Their copycat movie, which stars Tori Spelling, is not subtle when it comes to ripping off Pixar and Disney's baby. Maybe The Asylum really is the most appropriate name for this crazy company. The Autobots. John Lasseter is the brilliant director who worked on Disney's Cars. He was also the executive producer of Finding Dory and Monsters, Inc., and was one of the writers for Toy Story. The Disney legend was not at all happy when his animated feature Cars was copied by a Chinese company that claimed to have never seen the Disney version. The similarities were so evident that Disney opened a lawsuit against them for copyright infringement. In 2016, a Shanghai court awarded damages to Disney and Pixar. The illegal copycat version of Cars, called The Autobots, was released by Blue MTV in China back in 2015. Disney's statement about the whole ordeal said, "Intellectual property rights protection is key to the growth of the cultural services industry. We are pleased that the court is protecting the intellectual property rights of creative companies like ours." The director of The Autobots, Cho Jianrong, maintained his innocence throughout the ordeal by saying that the characters were developed from real vehicles. He also swore that he never saw Cars before making his movie. Chinese cinemagoers also complained about the similarities between the two films prior to the copyright case. But the cherry on top of this story was that prior to losing the case, Cho was planning a sequel. After the $190,000 fines and the order to seize their copyright infringement, we doubt he'll have any funds left over for The Autobots 2. The Secret of the Hunchback. Victor Hugo's legendary story of Quasimodo, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, is an astonishing novel set in Paris during the reign of King Louis XI. One of the most famous interpretations of Hugo's novel is probably Disney's animated version, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. However, a company called Jetlag Productions seemed to steal Disney's idea and released their own version of the story in the same year. In 1996, Jetlag released a 50-minute action-based romance film that was suitable for the entire family. It was released as part of the Golden Films Enchanted Tales collection and went straight to video. The Jetlag adaptation of Hugo's story is nothing like the original, which is probably why Disney didn't want to start any drama. The storyline strays too drastically from the path of both Hugo and Disney's versions. The ending of Jetlag's interpretation is also the biggest insult to the purpose that Hugo intended for his Quasimodo. We don't know about you, but we think that perfectly written literature is sometimes better left on the page. Ratatouille. The story of an adorable rat who became a master chef first graced the big screen back in 2007. A film by Pixar and Disney, Ratatouille won accolades from around the world. Directed by Brad Bird, Ratatouille became another one of Disney's successful movies. They even won an Oscar for it. Once the Brazilian company, Video Brinquedo, got word of its success, they decided to copy Disney's heartwarming film. They called their version Ratatouille, which definitely deserves a round of applause for being funny. The film was only 44 minutes long and was distributed by Branscombe International. Although the premise was similar to Ratatouille, it was still different enough that Disney didn't do anything about it. In the knockoff version, instead of a rat teaming up with a human to make amazing meals, the rat had to steal ingredients from human restaurants. He did this in order to maintain his restaurant's title as one of the best eateries in Rio de Janeiro. Both the Ratatouille and Ratatouille covers feature a picture of a rat and a logo with a circle around it. It's obvious this Brazilian company shamelessly replicated Disney's movie. As karma for their copycat ways, Ratatouille only received 1.4 stars out of 10 on IMDb. This sad rating is proof that no one can do it as well as Disney. Antz. Back in the 90s, two major animation competitors got into a huge feud over the movies Antz and A Bug's Life. Both films were released by DreamWorks and Disney respectively in 1998. This obviously turned an argument and sense of competition between the two production houses. At the time, DreamWorks had been viewed for years as a knockoff version of Pixar and Disney. Other similarities between their movies have included DreamWorks' The Wild versus Disney's Madagascar and DreamWorks' Flushed Away versus Disney's Ratatouille. We have to admit that the artwork on Antz is strikingly similar to Disney's A Bug's Life. The two movies also share the same storyline about an ant that falls in love with a princess and ends up saving his colony from the bad guys. But seeing as Antz was actually released a month before A Bug's Life, Disney couldn't do anything about it. However, it should be noted that Pixar and Disney started production on their Bug movie way before DreamWorks began working on theirs. The Dissolve even speculated that DreamWorks pushed their employees to make sure that they finished Antz before Disney finished A Bug's Life. This story is definitely controversial, and we may never know what truly happened. But don't worry, these two companies did eventually make up. Disney has actually been distributing DreamWorks movies since 2009. It's nice to see that these two studios are finally getting along. Leo the Lion. In 2013, a production company called Dudas Films released an animated feature called Leo the Lion. The film centered on a young cub named Leo who had trouble fitting in because he was a vegetarian. Leo decided that he needed to escape into the jungle in order to find himself. Does this story sound similar to another popular Disney classic, like The Lion King maybe? Well, that's because The Lion King is exactly what this film was imitating. The Weinstein Company distributed Leo the Lion, but it's only been released in South Korea so far. The Disney story of The Lion King is actually a take on the Shakespearean tragedy Hamlet, except everyone lives happily ever after in the end. Disney's version of the movie is not only entertaining for both children and adults, it's also meaningful. We bet that you would never have guessed that Leo the Lion is also the name of the furry lion that roars in the MGM logo. He is the mascot for the production company. We wonder what MGM thought when they saw that an animated film was titled after their prized lion. We're sure that Leo the Lion intended to have the same whopping success as The Lion King, but that just didn't happen. We guess that it just goes to show that there's nothing better than the original. What's up, Balloon to the rescue! This next one may be one of the biggest ripoffs in the world of Disney ripoffs. What's Up, Balloon to the Rescue is an almost direct replica of the famous heartfelt Disney feature, Up. The Brazilian company Video Brinquedo released their version almost immediately after Up was released in 2009. However, What's Up Balloon to the Rescue was first released in Portuguese. The timing of it all had people wondering if these two films were actually in production at the same time. It would seem odd if one of the largest companies in the animation world wasn't the one being plagiarized. Either way, What's Up did massively worse than Disney's Up. It received only 29% on Rotten Tomatoes and 1.2 stars on IMDb. In contrast, Up was given a rating of 98% on Rotten Tomatoes and has an 8.3 rating on IMDb. Up also won 2 Oscars and was nominated for countless other awards. Video Brinquedo may have attempted to recreate this magical film, but they just couldn't live up to Disney's masterpiece. Frozen Land. The creators of Frozen Land had originally named their film The Legend of Cirilla, which was released in 2013. This French-Canadian animated film was well on its way to success when Phase 4 picked it up for distribution. However, because of Disney's huge success with Frozen, Phase 4 decided to change the name of the movie. Choosing the name Frozen Land created animosity between the two companies. Disney even filed an injunction against Phase 4 for creating a replica of their original Frozen logo. Seeing as the content of Frozen Land is drastically different from Frozen, Disney probably shouldn't have bothered, but they demanded that Phase 4 destroy all Frozen Land DVDs and pay for compensatory damages. This ordeal became an intense trademark lawsuit, resulting in the film title and cover artwork being changed back to the original. The voice actors, which included Christopher Plummer, were probably not very happy with all this legal drama, but The Legend of Cirilla ended up getting nominated for 3 awards, including a Canadian Screen Award. Phase 4 should have just kept their mouths shut from the start. The real Frozen went on to win 2 Oscars and continues to be well loved by us all. That's all for 10 animated movies that copy Disney. Which Disney ripoffs were you shocked to hear about? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.